Hello and welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast, the platform to unearth and elevate the stories from female powerhouses who are changing the face of sport and beyond. We're Molly and Rosie, and this episode's Powerhouse is honestly next level. I actually can't believe we've managed to get her on. I'm proper excited for this one. Yeah, and we can't wait for you to hear this. There's so many takeaways, and whether you're a massive women's football fan or not, you're going to absolutely love this. Yep, you really are. So get comfy. It's Lucy Bronze. Lucy, thank you so much. We were saying earlier, weren't we? How have we managed to not interview you after all these years? She's been avoiding us. She's been avoiding us.
10 years.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, they're at SGP again. No. Let me stop around the corner. We've done well though. Like, well, you've done well to avoid us. We finally got her. We tracked her down. You've joined us off the back of what I think has been a busy day in training, yeah?
It was a good day. I like it. We got to play 11v11, but we had running at the end as well. Pitch lamps.
Straight back in with it.
Yeah.
Straight back in with it. But no, honestly, for us, like, the Powerhouse Pod is relatively new. To have you on it so soon is like a proper honour. So thank you so much for like giving us your time. Seriously. And I think for us, whenever we have chats, like the whole point of the podcast is to actually like chat about you for once. We're not gonna talk about all the stats and facts. You actually want to find out more about you.
Okay.
So it's the third episode, third time lucky, that's what they say.
Yeah.
So let's go right back to the beginning. I think initially, like, as an outsider looking in, you come across as someone, it's like, who knows who they are, what they want. But like, has that always been the case for you? Like, growing up, have you always been this person that's quite assertive in who they are?
Yes and no. I've always been so competitive and so driven, and I hate being wrong. I'm always right about everything.
Really?
But I was super shy, like painfully shy as a kid. It's funny because some of the people I've been friends with for a long time, like Farah or like Demi Stokes, they'll tell a story of when they first met me that they probably didn't hear my voice for like 2 years.
No, well, actually, though.
I've heard this a few times actually in interviews.
Farah always says
she always
it.
outs
Yeah, I've heard it on that one.
She
Honestly,
always,
every
Farah
single
outs
time.
me. Yeah. Demi doesn't, and like my other like Jordan and that don't. Like Demi Stokes, Jordan obviously standing for. I grew up with them since like 11, 12.
Yeah.
But dead shy.
Yeah,
But-
they all go, Lucy's she's always been chatty. Farah, under the bus.
Yeah, but also you
yeah.
can't get a word
Shit.
in with Farah, no? So is that also the
course it
reason?
is,
It's
mate.
like-
Well, listen to the pod.
your fault.
Listen to the pod. But like that's a mad concept that obviously you were this like really shy young girl. Do you think football was like, I guess the thing that pushed you out of your comfort zone initially?
Yeah, 100%. And I always played sport as a child as well. My mum really wanted me to play tennis, which she wanted me to wear frilly socks and the skirts and that. I remember playing the game against this girl once and she was cheating and I was too shy or anything to say, like, and I was like nearly in tears. I was only 10 years old or something. And my mum was like, keep going, like, you're fine. And I was just like, I can't do it. Like, I can't
Tell her.
say anything. Like, I need someone to say it for me. Like, I need someone around me to like feel better about myself. So it was like when I was playing football, there was a time where obviously I was the only girl on the team. It was like, oh, they've got a girl playing on the team. And my auntie took me and she was really like angry and I was like, no, like, it's cool. And like, because all the boys on the team were like, are we going to smack him then? And it was like, yeah.
that.
Like
love
they like had your back, so then I
Yeah.
was like, this is fine. Like I'd never had a problem with being the only girl on the team because they were my friends. I just love team sports. That's why I love football. I think it was a place where I was like, okay, I can. It sounds a bit sad, but I was like, I can make friends from a young age. If we enjoy the same thing, I could talk on the pitch. As soon as it finished and I went somewhere else, I was like, not talking to anyone again.
That's mad, you know. But now look at you now. And I think that's a really important conversation to have, right? Because I think naturally we all have narratives in our heads around who we are, what we like to do. And this is a great story to let people know listening that actually that narrative that you had in your head of, oh, I'm too shy or I'm not confident enough to do that can change if we continue to push ourselves out of our comfort zones, right? And I think that's a brilliant conversation to have. What kickstart your football career? What got you into it? Brothers?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, they like football now. Like, I use that word loosely. Like, they like it because I play it.
Yeah.
My mum didn't know anything, like, didn't know positions, nothing. My dad neither, growing up. Yeah.
Crazy.
But my brother's like almost 2 years older than me, so he just played with his mates and that, and I adored my brother when I was younger. I just wanted to wear the same shoes as him, wanted to do the same as him. He played football, so I wanted to play. And I always say I'm so lucky because any other big brother, I think, would be like, no, my little sister's not coming. Whereas he was like, no, Lucy's coming and she's on my team.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So I think I was really lucky in that respect. Like, and my mum and my dad were like, oh, do whatever you want. Like, if you want to play football, go and play football. It took a while for them to actually start watching the games. They were like, oh, she's actually quite good, let's go.
Glory hunters.
Yeah, that's my mum. At the beginning, it was like she was sat in the car reading the newspaper, and then someone was like, oh, when I played for the boys' team, they were like, you need to take her to a girls' team because I think Lucy will play for England when she's older. And my mum was like, what?
Oh, now she wants to know. Yeah, that's it. England's being mentioned. I'll turn up. I'll get out the car. But it's so interesting, isn't it? Like, imagine actually you were growing up in a family where maybe that wasn't the case, and like it proves environments, everything. I think we're all quite similar. You've got older siblings, and you are sort of like pushed into these situations and environments 100%. Where you sink or swim, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to think. And in those moments when like your brother was like, right, Lucy's on my team. What would that do for you as like that young girl? Would you just feel like your confidence is flying?
Yeah, I was so like, I think that was the confidence I always got was from my mum and my brother especially. My mum like thinks that all three of us, my little sister as well, thinks we're like the best things ever and always has.
Love that.
Like, but it's never like you scored the best goal. It's like you worked your hardest. It was never like specific things that I did, so I always felt like good. And then, yeah, my brother's he's always pushed me and he's never let me win in anything. But it was like, but I still want you to come. So I think for me, that gave me so much confidence. And he was very arrogant when he was younger. So
was he?
Yeah.
Well, he'll say it himself, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, he was like one of them lads, like, I'm the best at everything. He was smart. He was athletic. And then
Was he actually, though? Like,
No, he actually was.
Oh, really?
Annoying. The annoying
so
big brother. So I was like, I wasn't a threat to him because I was just quiet and just like going along, and he had someone to play with. Like, so it worked quite well, to be fair.
That's honestly so amazing. And me and Mole constantly talk about it. Like, I truly believe we all have a thing in life, right? Whatever that may be. And the sooner you find that thing, it gives you purpose. And once you have your purpose in life, you wake up every day and you work towards it, right? How important was it to find your thing so early on in life?
Well, it was the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah, I bet.
I was obsessed, like so obsessed. I think even like I went to uni and did my degree in sports science because I wanted it so that I could make myself better at football.
Yeah,
like I used to go, mainly Standout were best friends when we were younger. We used to go to the gym together. And one of us would put the treadmill up next to each other, and then I would be like, see that she had hers on 15, so I was like,
I was like, we do that.
Yeah.
I think I still do that now. It's
Yeah.
like that. We probably weren't on 15, Mole.
it was just like we were both like flying off
Love
the
that.
end. But it was like an obsession from a very young age. I just wanted to be like the best I could be, and I just loved learning more about it. And to be fair, I wouldn't say I watched football that much when I was younger. It was just playing. I love competing. Yeah.
All right, and just on that actually, because you've mentioned Lucy there, how important was that for you to have that competitive edge with Lucy growing up? Like, we talk loads about environment as well and having the right people around you. Was Lucy that person for you that used to push you when you were younger then?
Yeah, she's younger than me as well.
She's younger, no way.
She's a year younger. So
you had to be better, right?
Yeah, we went to the same school, everything. We grew up like on the same team, and she was always better than me. Like, out of me, Lucy, Jordan, and Demi, there was 4 of us, and we would be like, Lucy's like technically the best out of all of us, so it was used to annoy the hell out of me. This little kid, she was proper scrawny as well. I was like, oh, she's so much better than me. I used to go hours on the pitch to like practice kicking with her. I was like, gosh, she's so much better than me. Like, it used to pain me so much, but it made me like go even harder.
Of course.
Yeah.
And like at school, was it you two mainly? Or like, was there other girls playing football at that time?
No one else played football.
Yes.
We had a girls' football team. It was me and Lucy and anyone else who would stand on the pitch with us.
No way.
And we literally would win everything in the area.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. But that's what I'm saying. Obviously, like, so much has changed. I remember it was probably similar as, wasn't it, Rose? Like, when you look back at primary school and that. You're sort of just like, you're there, and then you sort of like get people to, come on, you like football.
Yeah, you like sport.
You love standing in goal. You like,
you do it in hockey. Go on.
Oh, but then the PE teachers used to get you playing every sport though. So annoying.
Well,
honestly.
we had so Lucy's the year below me, and then the year above me is a girl called Laura Waitman. She ran in the 2012 Olympics in the 1500 meters and finished like 8th. So she's like decent. Yeah. So we always got made to do like road relays.
What,
like,
you three?
Yeah. because we had one in each age group.
Oh,
Girls in each age group who could actually run.
that's
Insane.
unheard of.
Insane.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know that school, every poster, everything, anything that's going on with sport in that school.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a competition because you had like sports person of the year, and it was like, well, we've got an Olympian and 2 English football players. Like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah, it didn't happen in our school. I'll be honest.
Yeah, we were bang average and we were definitely the best. We were
Yeah,
buzzing. Buzzing. I'd have been fuming if I went to your school.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have been in goal. Mate, honestly. But it's mad because obviously we definitely come from a generation, I'm not giving away ages here, but like we definitely come from, you know, a generation where it was different, girls. Let's say that. It was different for us coming through, which, you know, it's amazing to see how the landscape and infrastructure is now. But back when we were playing, like we speak about all the time, sand-based astroturfs, you're playing at the back of schools, you're getting kicked off the pitches, you're wearing hand-me-down kits, you know, that come down to your elbows, so you're telling everyone that it's long sleeve, it's not, it's short sleeve, just don't fit you. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to like start all these things out, yeah? Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest. We're fast forwarding now, I guess, to like where we are now, which is a totally different position. Did you ever imagine that like you'd be in this position right now, considering everything you've done?
No, I didn't. And when I was younger, like I always said it, I would have, even if football never became professional, I would have always played it. So my dream wasn't like, oh, I'm going to win the Euros for England or this and that and trophies. I didn't watch football enough to understand like the difference between the Champions League and the Premier League and stuff when I was little. It was just like, I absolutely love playing football and I love beating people. It doesn't matter what it's for, I just want to beat and win that game. Like, that's it.
And like, I don't know, like when we were growing up and stuff, we didn't even know that like other
was
girls were playing
Yeah,
football.
exactly.
Was
No.
it the same for you?
Completely. Like, it was when I was 11, I got told I couldn't play with the boys. And where I lived, there wasn't a girls' team. So that's when my mum had to, like, hit Google and
Yeah.
like, find the closest place. And that's when names like Rachel Yankee came up and Kelly Smith. And they were the only 2 names I heard of. Didn't know what they looked like. And then we kind of got more into it to find out and was like, oh, Arsenal's like the big team and these are the players. But, yeah, didn't know.
Didn't know.
Didn't know it was a
Crazy.
thing. Didn't even, to be honest, I was so young, didn't even know that, like, women weren't on the screen, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know,
that's
that's
what I mean.
it's crazy. Like honestly, because we didn't watch football like that either, so you just didn't. You weren't aware
We were
of
like,
it,
oh,
were
football's there and, like, oh, David Beckham, but I didn't realise that Kelly Smith wasn't on the same team or, do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, I
100%.
wasn't, as a child, you're not aware of, like,
Yeah, but
boys
we
and
also
girls.
like, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it also like wasn't available to us. Do you know what I mean? So of course we didn't know because we didn't see it.
Yeah.
But, and again, this is where it's so different now. But like actually looking at this position you're in now, do you ever reflect? Like, do you actually ever have a
No.
minute? Like I've said to you before you came in, what did you get up to at Christmas? And you were like, done this, done that, done this. And I'm thinking, I wonder if you actually ever think, oh, I've had a mad year and this is what I've done.
no, never. I even, like, yeah, like, Serena gives me stick about it because I remember we won the Euros and literally I was like, can't wait for the World Cup. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know, just when I'm done and dusted and I'm sit back, I don't even have any trophies, nothing in my house. Like,
Really?
no, not
Wow.
any shirts.
Where are
nothing.
they?
My mum's house and my sister's house
Oh,
and my
she's
grandma's.
buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
I
baby
go,
mum
I go to their house and I'm like, oh God, like it's a shrine. My brother's office, my brother collects all my Champions League shirts. So his like
no
home
way.
office is like, and I'm like, his boss has got like a daughter who plays football. I'm like, you're just doing that to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ahead.
my sister's Lucy Brown, by the way.
Yeah, little promotion.
Not that the name give it away. Like,
I find that really mad that you don't ever just find time. But I also think that's a societal thing. But I don't think anyone, that the way that the world is now and the way that life is now, we don't stop to sit down and think, blimey, I've done a lot. Or look where I was from that young girl that didn't even know there were female teams to where I am now. Like, do you not want to implement that in your life, or you actually think the way that you work now keeps you hungry and you'd rather do that at the end of your career?
yeah, and I think, like I said, that I didn't start my career thinking I'm going to win the Champions League or this, that, the other. So I do them because they became a goal in my life, but they weren't my original goal. My original goal was, I love playing football. Like, people say, when are you going to retire? And I'm like, why? I do the best job in the world. Like, I absolutely love it. And I
100%.
can keep doing it. So why not? Like,
100%.
No-brainer.
I hate
Yeah.
that question. Because I think as
oh,
well.
you've done it all. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but
And?
And let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Yeah,
Yeah, your
100%.
brother's got a big office to fill. Do you know?
Yeah.
Got more walls to cover.
Yeah, exactly. Do you goal set though? So like at the start of each year, would you have certain things in mind that you're like, right, okay, I'm going to go out and achieve that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not
right.
like, no, I've never ever had an individual goal. Never ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's always been like team goals,
It's like,
win
what's
certain trophies.
Yeah,
and
what tournament is this year? What team am I playing for? What like chances have we got of winning these things? Like, yeah, 100%.
where we're going wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
we sit down and constantly.
Yeah, I'm
like,
like-
every year we're constantly.
yeah. And then I'm like, oh God, nothing's happened. But it's like, oh, but I did go on that holiday.
All right, don't discredit yourself. Yeah?
No,
You're
no,
all right.
no,
You're all right.
don't.
You've
I'm
done
doing
all
my
right.
goal setting tomorrow. Missed it.
Oh, yeah, you
Jan.
are.
Might change my ways now. Just make it about the team. But yeah, I think on that chat of like where you're at now, getting signed for like, you know, the biggest sports brand in the world, like in Nike, did that feel crazy for you when that happened?
Yeah, I think at the time it was. And like my favourite thing, and again, I don't think people know it, but they've got their headquarters in London and it's quite new, like a few years old. One of the rooms is called the Lucy Bronze Room.
Seen it. Unbelievable.
What more do you want?
What more do you want?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You've
like,
made it. You've made it.
My own meeting room. Like, you want to come by? Yes, in my room. Like,
We could have done
There we
this in
go.
there.
well,
You didn't tell us you had a room.
might have been a bit more space. Yeah.
Oh, she mugged that room there.
No, mate. Right, I wouldn't have
Studio
that.
there.
I wouldn't have that. We love our room. We love our room. Have you had a moment, and what has that moment been where you're like, wow, this really is everything I've worked for? What's the standout?
The 2015 was the World Cup in Canada, and before that World Cup, England women's team had never won a knockout game, which is crazy when you think now, because at England everyone's like, oh, World Cup finals, semi-finals,
Yeah.
Euros, like we're so successful, da, da, da. And it's like, yeah, it's been like we've had to change that. But 2015 I had surgery on my knee. I was out for 3 months, so I lost my spot in the team. But I was playing centre back. Alex Scott was right back. Alex Scott was Alex Scott, best right back in the world probably at the time. So then the manager was like, okay, you come in the World Cup, but you're like the first backup of every position in the back, basically. I was number 12, first sub. Like, and I'm like, cool. Like, that doesn't faze me. I was disappointed, but it was like, yeah, I'll be ready. So the group games, it went like Alex, me, Alex. And then the knockout game came and I was starting.
Ugh.
So it was my first proper start where I'm like, oh, I've took the shirt off Alex Scott. Like, this is someone I looked up to. I remember me and Jordan were jumping on the bed like, oh my God, as if you start. And like, couldn't believe it. And then that's the game where I scored like a 20-yard hit,
wait.
top corner, sent England through to their first ever knockout round in the World Cup. I started at right back for England, and my phone was just going crazy.
Oh, I bet.
And it was just like, that was all my dreams came true in one thing. It was.
That's why she
It
don't
was
goal
a-
set. Because she's done all that. She
Yeah.
doesn't need to achieve anything else.
And
That's
do you know what's the
unbelievable.
best part of the story is, like, me and Alex were always friends. Like, we've always been good friends.
Yeah.
And we always used to have a joke. She was like, I'll have to retire until you play right back. And I said, no, I'll make you retire. Like, we had that banter. But before that game, I'll always remember I was playing against her in training and she went, why didn't you shoot when you were stood there? Why did you pass it? You can shoot. And I was like, no, I never shoot. Like, I'm not someone who scores goals. And then the next
No.
game, I shot. And she was like, told you so.
God, that's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. I was like, clip that up. Unbelievable.
But do you know what's mad about that? You know, like you were saying earlier, like you're so competitive that probably like pushed you so much having Alex to
Yeah,
fight against.
best thing ever.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
had you
probably
not
the
have had
proof.
her, maybe you wouldn't have got to, and you would have, but like maybe it wouldn't have pushed you in the same way.
We always say that, and when she did retire, she was like, I'm so glad you're here, because she was like, right back's been my position, and now I feel like it's always going to have a good player. Like, I didn't want to leave until there was someone who was going to like be amazing as well. So I was like, it was so nice.
And are you nervous in that moment, or you're coming across now speaking as someone that just like takes it on the chin? It's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, but do you
It's
know what the thing,
crazy.
everyone always says that, oh, do you feel pressure? And I'm like, I don't really, because I trained like my arse off to get there.
Yeah.
And I did all the right things in training. I can't change anything now that I'm starting. Like, what am I going to do? Quickly go and run like a marathon to get fitter? Or I'm going to go and practice me crossing for like 3 days? No, I'm playing. Like, what's done is done. I'll try my hardest and that's it. Like,
I think the same about shows. Like, we've done the scripts, we know what we're about to say, the red light's on, we've prepared enough.
nothing's going to change now. Yeah.
We can't change what's about to happen once that red light goes on. And it's the exact same concept. So for people listening, try and think about the career that you're in and how you can translate that.
And then
to what
people will be
Lucy's
like,
saying,
yeah, but what if like you haven't prepared? I'm like, so then why would I feel pressure because I've not done the work? That is my own fault.
100%.
Yes, I don't deserve
100%.
exactly. I don't deserve it.
But
like,
don't you think, right, when it comes to these conversations, the confidence comes from the preparation?
Exactly,
I
yeah.
truly believe that. Like, people go into these overwhelming situations not feeling that way because actually there probably is a little bit of a lack of prep if they're deadly honest with themselves.
Yeah.
So I do think, the more preparation comes confidence, and you've got to do the work first, then the confidence comes. And I think sometimes people think it's the other way around.
Like you have to be able to do it in that environment before you then go, oh, I'm suddenly going to score a goal in like the World Cup final or something. Now you have to be practicing and shooting.
And you speak about yours and Alex's relationship there growing up. Was there any other role models that you had, that players you looked up to, where you're like, right, I really want to play like her, I want to be like her when I'm older?
Oh, I want to play like them. I like Rachel Yankee was like the big name, and Rachel Yankee and Kelly Smith were the two that was a goal that I set actually.
Oh.
I wanted to play for England with them.
Oh, no way.
I wanted to get into the England team whilst they were still playing, and I did it. And I remember my first cap was Rachel Yankee's record-breaking cap. Like, she became the most capped player at the time. Obviously, it's changed now. And it was such a big celebration for her. And that was my first cap, and I was like, oh my God, I'm playing with Rachel Yankee when she's like got this cap. And she was someone who, I think she had a huge impact on me without people realising it, because at my first tournament, she'd like come and speak to me, and she didn't ever like conform to rules.
Really?
And just be like, say what she was thinking and what was the right thing, not what people wanted to hear. And I was like, I want to be like you. Yeah.
Yeah, do you actually think that's where it comes from then? Because you're very much like that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of women in my life who are like, my mum was like that, my auntie's
Strong
like
women.
that. Yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I've grown up in that. But when I've seen, I guess Yanks was one of the first ones who I saw in like that environment who was like, nah, I'll say what I want to say, and if I don't get picked, like, is what it is. I'm happy in myself. And she was someone I was like, yeah, that's so cool. It was such a cool thing to me to see.
Did you ever tell her that like that was one of your goals?
No, but but she's like the hardest person to speak to. Like, she's so humble. So if you say something now and I tell this story and she's like, nah, Lucy, that didn't
That's
happen.
like,
no, it literally did. Like,
saying.
like, she'll like come up to me now when we see each other and she's like, Lucy, you're doing so good, like speaking out. And I'm like, I literally copying you. Like, you're like the OG that just was like a good footballer, worked hard, but did the right thing, like for other people, like spoke out for other people when she felt like she could or should and stuff like that. But she's just like, nah.
That's it. Way too humble.
Yeah.
Way too
So
humble.
humble.
Oh, I love
That's actually so conflicting, isn't it? That you're someone that's outspoken, but also have grown up really shy.
Yeah, I've become like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... there was a time in my 20s where it was like, I don't really know, like, I'm so shy I can't speak to people, but I've got to do these interviews and talk about this that I'm super confident about. Like, how does that work?
So what, does the confidence ooze when you're certain on a subject, and then maybe away from that environment, that's when you go in yourself a little bit?
I think a little bit, and I just think getting older and just being like,
No, here we
just
are.
like I'll say what I want. If I'm wrong, like, cool, whatever. Like, but when you're younger, it's like you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to make mistakes.
And we all, do you know what? When we're younger, we care what people think more.
So much.
Honestly,
more. Yeah.
That honestly was the bane. Like, especially in our 20s, like, I cared so much what people were thinking that it actually prevents you from being yourself.
Yeah, and just being like, actually, do you know what? I don't care if I look stupid. Like, I'm having fun. Like, or I'm learning something. Who cares? Yeah.
Exactly.
When did you stop caring?
Probably around 25, 26.
Yeah,
was
same,
when I
probably.
started to like. I know it was another story. It was funny. Like, I was last to the warm up at England or at the back of the queue or something, and Kaz Carney turned to me and was like, she said something like, she was at the back and she was like, I know I won't be in trouble for being at the back because Lucy Bronze is at the back as well. And I must have been like the teacher's pet or something.
Okay.
And that was the first time where I was like, okay, like, cool, like, as long as I'm doing the right things and whatever, so now it's a thing I always go at the back of everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Since that moment?
Since that moment, because I'm like, oh, well, if I'm not going to get into trouble, I might as well not have someone else stressing about being at the back or being slow just because they are. that I have to get told off and I don't care. Like,
That's
okay.
fair. I love that.
That's actually such a nice way to think.
Yeah.
And you know, like how you spoke about earlier, like how you'd be quite uncomfortable and stuff when you were going into changing rooms when you were little. Or a bit younger. Now, are you that person for people that might come in new or maybe a little more introverted? Are you the one that puts your arm around?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This is wild at Chelsea. I was there for a week, and the young players and the new players were asking me. They were like, "So where do we put this?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm new. Like we came here at the same time. What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, like I just thought because like you kind of know everyone and you just straight into it."
You must have that presence as well. Do you know what I mean? For the youngsters, like the presence to just be like, oh, she'll look after me or she'll put her arm around me. That's nice. That's a nice role to play, no?
No, it is nice. And,
Yeah.
and I always say to them, I say, well, just do that. And if someone asks, just say, I told you to do it. Like,
There
it's
we go.
fine. Like, don't worry about it.
Lovely.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's because she's always doing the TikToks with them.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
You have to keep them on your side. You don't want them to turn against you.
Did they teach you about the TikTok trends and that? Like,
Oh.
do you get involved?
Yeah, like I don't really. I'm not,
Like, do you-
No, I keep up to date
Yeah,
with it.
you're
So
like,
I know
really?
more than them. Yeah.
Oh, decent.
Yeah,
Alright, so you
I
show
keep
them.
up. Yeah.
Alright,
Even
cool.
at Chelsea, like one of our goalkeepers, she's like 18 years old, but like I think me and her spend all our day together. And it's like she's the youngest player and I'm the oldest player, but it's because we know like all
the TikTok
all the stupid things. So I'm like, you have to be able to be friends with everyone. But then with Millie, I'm sat there thinking, right, come on, how are we going to make the team better? And then I'm going with this kid, like, let's do some TikToks.
Oh, I actually heard the new trend, the Mufasa one. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, all right.
You're not up to date.
Who's not been on TikTok? I don't got TikTok.
I ain't got TikTok. Yeah,
No, no,
Have you seen the new trend? Mufasa one. Hasn't that movie been out for like 2 days?
Rosie, Rose, don't be embarrassed. Yeah? It's
No,
fine.
not
You should be
even.
proud of it.
Oh, yeah, Kirsch, you know about the Mufasa one, right? Thank you.
Right, what you got to do?
Is it the one
Yeah,
from
he's-
the Hudson show? Isn't it?
Yeah. It's the actual
Aaron
actor. You see-
Pierre.
Yeah, that's
the
it, they're singing
song.
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he dances down.
And he dances down the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then what?
So you have seen it.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that video.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Do you want Noose to do
No,
it? or
I
something?
was just.
Not
I was,
enough space. Oh, sorry.
No, there's not enough space.
And you know, obviously, with this like new way of women's football and how much traction we've got now, which is incredible, comes a bit of spotlight. Yeah, being in the public eye, maybe a bit of fame, right? So, how are you personally dealing with like this fame that you found now, and how's it impacted you?
Yeah, I think I've been quite lucky because there wasn't such thing growing up, and as my career's developed and I've become more famous, if you want to say that.
I can't believe you don't realise or you won't admit that you're famous. That actually blows my mind.
This is Rachel Yankee rubbing off on her.
It's so true.
I told you I want to be like her.
Honestly.
But I remember my mum used to come and visit me a lot, and I've got a little dog, so she took the dog out for a walk when I was at training with my sister. They went into Barcelona, and some like young girls ran up to her and was like, "Oh my God, is that Lucy Bronze's dog?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm Lucy Bronze's mum," and they were like, "Oh my God, you're Lucy Bronze's mum!" And my sister's like, "Yeah, I'm a sister as well." Like, oh my days, like.
Was your mum lapping it up?
Yeah,
Does she love it?
she loves it.
love
I think she's had some pictures with fans before, and she'll be like, "Oh, I got this off a fan today," and give me like a letter off them. and stuff.
Oh, she's
God,
definitely.
I shouldn't have said that because people are going to be giving my mum everything now because they know it comes to me. But yeah, I think I'm so lucky. My career started from nothing, kind of where women's football was, and as I've rose in my career, women's football has. So it's kind of been at the same level the whole time. So it's been easy for me to get used to like knowing that and seeing that. I think my mum had to remind me a few times, "You're Rachel Yankee to that other girl now." Like you have.
Hang on, they hang on
like,
every word.
Something that you say to them is going to make their day, like it's going to make their week. Like just think about that.
But how does that feel to be that person now?
Well, it's nice. That's
Yeah.
I like when I have the mascots at the games because they're like stood in the tunnel like this. Like, I'm like, "Are your parents here?" I think so. Like, they're so nervous and stuff. I love speaking to them because I think you should enjoy it, but they're so nervous to like see it.
Yeah, to see you.
When I
yeah.
just walk out chatting to them, and it's like nice for me because I'm not even thinking about the game. I'm just chatting to this kid. Like,
Bit of a distraction.
yeah,
Oh.
whereas everyone else is just like
Yeah, game
big
mode.
game, like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, "Oh look
Like
at
your
the
socks."
fireworks!" Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But don't you think like the environment is so key? I think the environment is actually the most important thing to consider when making a decision because actually is that environment going to allow you to Number
Be
one, feel
yourself.
valued. And be yourself. Like, are you valued for being you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a real important conversation to have, because I think there's been certain environments, whether it's you playing football or, you know, us changing roles or going into different jobs throughout our careers, it's like the environment sometimes forces you to change, and that only lasts for so long. You can't keep that up for
Cracks
long.
start to
Yeah,
show.
100%. What's been, in your career, the best environment you've been a part of?
Probably when I went to Lyon.
Really?
That was insane. Yeah, it was really insane.
What made it special?
It was like, I remember the first year of the Ballon d'Or and Ada Hegerberg won it, and it was only 15 nominations for the women's in total. 8 of them were my teammates.
Mad.
Yeah, that
That's
was
crazy.
insane. Like, there was, I don't think there's ever going to be something like that again. It was like that. We'll handpick the FIFA 11. Okay, we'll sign them. Like, cool, and they'll put them on a pitch together.
Yeah, crazy.
And it was crazy because from the outside, Lyon was like this monster, and everyone was like, "Oh, Lucy, like, it's tough in like France. Like, they're this, they're that." Went there, it was amazing. There was no egos. These players were the best players in the world. I think the only one who maybe's had a bit about her was Ada Hegerberg, but
Yeah.
it was like, you're the striker.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
You
yeah,
need-
yeah.
you
You
need-
actually need that.
You need
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we needed someone like that.
Yeah.
And everybody else was so, like, crazy competitive, but so humble. And I was like, you are 10 times as good as this player. And they'd be like, yeah, but they can do things I can't.
Wow.
And I'm like, why? Like,
Yeah.
Was that like the biggest shock for you to actually, like,
Yeah.
because I guess you assume, right, you're going to have to go in there and almost like manage that ego stuff. But,
yeah, and think like, oh, like, how am I going to fit in here? Do I have to prove a point? Went in first day and it was just like, they were like, oh, you're so good. And I was thinking, I've been here 2 seconds.
Buzzing.
Yeah, like, sick. Get in.
Yes.
When you're in, I'd think I'm good. Yeah.
For me, like, even when you talk about like stepping out of Wembley, how the youngsters react and just that vibe, have you never felt overwhelmed in those moments? Like, what are the moments that you felt overwhelmed? Because I can't imagine that throughout of all these experiences, you've never felt that emotion. Do you know what I mean?
Overwhelmed. Barcelona, the first Champions League final with them, like, I started it and I played 90 minutes, which seems normal. I had knee surgery 5 weeks before, and I trained once before the game.
No.
Yeah.
And was that obviously on purpose?
Yeah, like, I in the semi-final, a bone chipped off my knee, and it got stuck. So they were like, we need to go in, take it out, but it's going to take you like it should be 4 to 6 weeks. The final's in like 5.5 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Can you get ready? And I'm like, cool, yeah, no worries.
What? It was in your head a little bit though, right? Ahead of the final.
Well, it just was like, the Barca girls had lost the year before and won before that. So they were a little bit like, so I was like, okay, no, I'm not nervous at all, but I was thinking, I've literally trained once. And in the first 10 minutes of the game, like, I got the ball stuck under my foot, got tackled, and they scored. And we were 1-0 down in the Champions League final. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Yeah. I
remember
saw
that.
people
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
that and
yeah.
they're like, oh, she's just done that. I was like, in her head, I was like, you see, it's fine. You had surgery 5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're doing
100%.
amazing. Like, you're actually, and I was like, this camera's definitely panned on me, making the worst mistake ever. And there's no context to the fact that I've not kicked the ball for like 5 weeks.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
cool. Like, I remember the next set piece, I was like trying so hard to score, and then it just was like, I just forget about it. And I mean, it's easy when you're playing a good team, and everyone else around you is like focused and calm
Yeah.
and stuff. It was like, yeah, it's fine.
See, this is just showing me the importance of mindset though, because I know so many players that if that happens in the first 10,
Gone.
Oh, your head's gone.
Yeah.
head's gone.
Yeah.
They're making mistakes left, right, and centre for the rest of the game.
Well, someone said to me, because I told the story a while back, and they were like, maybe that's why you actually, the rest of the game, you focused even more because you were so aware of that mistake that I didn't make a mistake the rest of the game. Like, I wasn't the best player on the pitch, but I did exactly what I was supposed to do. We won the game. I defended properly. Did this. I didn't score, unfortunately.
But you know that positive self-talk thing you're chatting about? Like, have you had to learn to do that? Or has that just been a natural thing again that you think you've always been able to do for yourself?
I think it's come from my mum just having it in my head all the time.
Like, but boosting you, like
Yeah.
giving you that
Instilled.
confidence.
She's always boosted me so much that eventually, like, there was something in the back of my head always thinking that I was, like, doing well. But it was like, it's my mum. And eventually when I started doing well, I realised that she was right. Oh, she loved that. She's always right. But yeah.
Love that.
And it just, I guess then it just continued into my own head.
So it is like instilled. So all the time she didn't get out and watch the game,
she still had that impact, didn't she?
Yeah,
In her
yeah,
own
of
way.
course,
She's
yeah.
reading her magazine in the car, but she's still, you know.
My mum's never had a football shirt. Still to this, like never England, Chelsea. No. She only ever had one football shirt, and she had it made herself because she doesn't know like positions or whatever. And the shirt literally says "Go Lucy, go." That's it. And she
I
was
love
like,
that.
"I got this shirt because that's the only thing I'll ever say to you.
Oh, that's
Whatever you're doing,
unbelievable.
just go Lucy, go." Like that's it.
When it comes to like that personal downtime and having balance, does that exist in your life?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people a couple of years ago probably said it didn't because I was so obsessed.
But what has changed in the last couple of years? Why is it the last couple of years that you've started to maybe focus a little bit more on that?
I think just the intensity of the game, as in like just it's full on. Like every days can be full on. Like when you go with England, I think for the first 2 days I don't even know what time it is because it's like one thing to the next. Like, and women's football's growing, and then you've also got to be a part of. Like I'm in this player meeting. Oh, on this player board. Oh, now I'm in the managers meeting. Now I'm in this meeting, and it's like wow, it's everything's just hyped up because there's more expectation, there's more things going on, there's more conversations. And now I got to a point where I was like, whoa, I'm doing far too much.
Yeah. And it's interesting actually to listen to that, because I think the only time in which like I would ever feel switched off, to be honest, is when I remove myself from the environment and get out of the country or just go and travel for a little bit. Is that the same for you?
I think, well, I've lived in other countries. I think living in those other countries helped me switch off so much better anyway. Like when I'm back in England, it's quite full on. But I feel like when you're abroad, you become like nobody.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So even as
good
like
point.
even playing in those countries, you become like a little bit more under the radar and things like that.
Like a culture though abroad, isn't it? Like everyone is just a little bit more laid back. I think
Yeah.
the culture,
Yeah,
in
lifestyle's so different.
Yeah, and like the culture in England is very like, you know, full on what's next,
Go,
what's
go,
next.
go, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, yeah, you do get to a point where it's like, how sustainable is that? Do you know what I mean? Before actually all you feel is knackered. And like now you've realised like maybe the last couple of years you do need to maybe switch off a little bit more. What's that look like for you?
Just like taking the dog out for a walk. Like I won't even maybe like listening to music whilst I'm on the walk. And the music that I tend to listen to is not even in English either.
Nah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you can speak full blown like Spanish.
Like Spanish
something,
or
yeah.
French, yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps you like
Yeah, so that's very different because obviously Lucy will understand the words of the songs. So it's not that mind blowing.
I'm not saying
Like Molly thought that was groundbreaking.
no, because I thought,
I'm like,
I wonder if that's a thing where like different language
you
music
think like
switches
listening
you
to
up.
like Swedish or something.
Yeah, because on the way home, I'm going to listen to some, you know, Spanish, and I might feel really chilled.
right, okay, all right, sorry. I just thought, yeah, you're.
Me on my new playlist.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Let's listen to tune this one.
So in terms of like, you know, over the last few years, you've obviously learnt to switch off more. Is there anything that you've valued a little bit more as you've gotten older?
Probably like time with my family. I think that's something that I'd at a young age, well, when you're younger anyway, you want to go here, there and everywhere.
Yeah.
And like you just living your own life and things get ahead of yourself. But I think especially my brother has 2 kids, so they're like 5 and 3, and then spending more time with them, I'm like, I should be more with my family. Like, it's so much better. Yeah. I think that was a big part in like wanting to come back to England.
Just be Auntie Lucy, innit?
Yeah, exactly. What type of auntie are you though?
The best.
Is it?
I'm the only one that can like throw them both in the air and like swing them around the room. And that.
Oh, so you're fun auntie then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right. They
like
love that.
loads of energy. Like end
Yeah,
of
yeah.
games. My niece the other day, I said, "Oh, are you gonna go to Mummy and Daddy's house? Are you gonna come to Auntie Lucy's house?" No, Mummy and Daddy's house. I said, "Where does Auntie Lucy live?" She went, "In the football stadium."
That's quality.
And at the end of the games, like all the girls are like playing with them, so they've got like a whole host of like friends who are like, I think it was me, Neve Charles and like Kata Makari were like hitting them with cushions and stuff after games. Like they love it.
That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's quality. I always wonder, like, you know, because that's like a different version of you, innit? When you're with kids, I think that is a different version. But like, I thought you'd be like maybe like the chill auntie, but you're
No.
really.
The Champions League final, they came on the pitch. We were like legging it around, swinging. I was like, I had my niece by like one leg, swinging her around.
Unreal.
Obviously, like you've got the youngsters now in your family, and I think it's always nice to like talk about what's that bit of advice maybe you'd be giving them as they get older. But for you, like, what's that one piece of advice you wish you learnt sooner?
I think my mum used to always say it to me, but I didn't really understand it until I was older, about life not being fair. Which sounds so harsh. Like I used to be like, oh, my brother's beating me. It's not fair. Mum was like, sometimes we see life's not fair. And it was like a joke in a jokey way. And I'd be like, well, that's not okay. Like, I had a really like burning like thing where I hated things being not fair. And I think I've realised as I've got older, like, things aren't fair, but there's a way of it being like equal or like that equality, which is something like I'm kind of like really like fighting for and things. But the whole thing of life's not fair and like understanding really what that means, but it doesn't mean that it's like a detriment to something else. And maybe it's not fair, but you can have something good in a different way.
You've obviously launched a Lucy Bronze Scholarship as
Scholarship,
well,
yeah.
which is amazing, by the way. What allowed you to do that? Why? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, it was with like a AI scouting app. So it's like, I like it because of this AI technology, which is crazy. You could literally just film yourself, and that's all you need is your phone and football, which like, it's so much more accessible. Like, you don't have to have like loads of cones and a football pitch and this, which some girls can't get that. Like,
Exactly.
and then because of the technology, it can like literally scout these players and watch their technique.
That's mental.
Yeah, so I can like open it up to so many people and get so much data back from it. And the only thing is it's only one position at the minute, but I want eventually to like do more and more. But yeah, it's like, I kind of had a similar thing where I went to America and got scouted there, and it was one of the best life experiences I ever had, and I wouldn't have had it if it wasn't for a scholarship either, because my parents wouldn't have been able to afford it. So I've kind of been through that, and I did my degree. Like, I love education.
Yeah.
Like, woo.
Definitely, no, but
That's
100%.
important. Yeah.
It's so important to get to a stage, especially where the game is now, where girls, boys, whatever, you're not needing to choose between what you love doing and your education.
Yeah.
And I think what you've created there and what you're trying to do is create a more equal space that means that you don't have to make that choice, which is amazing. And you spoke about it there, like your journey, you have fought for equality the whole time. You know, your whole group has, do you know what I mean, to get to this level of equality that we've got now. And like, how do you feel now when you look around and like the game is where it is? Like, how does it actually make you feel, Nine? You have worked so hard through this transition of women's football, and you've been like a figurehead in that process.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get both kind of ways. Like, it's so nice to see, and I love, like, there's so many opportunities that I know I never had and could have never wished for. But then there's this part of me that's just like, it's still not enough. Like,
It's never
enough.
Yeah.
No, like, there's still so many things that are so frustrating. And I think the more that I've been involved, the more things I've seen, that then there's like, wow, there's even, like, I need to change this now, I need to do this now, I need to do this now. And like, yeah, it's just like a never ending like journey of equality. But at the same time, it's so much fun when you do hear stories or see people like it's made a difference to their life. So many stories after the Euros, and it was amazing. Like, little girls, older women, like some of my mum's friends were like, it's the best thing that's ever happened. Like, it's changed how women are viewed in society. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it's just like, it's football, but it's such a bigger thing, and it's amazing to be part of.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And like, you know, I'm really interested to know, obviously we spoke about what's next for women's football there, but what would you say that's next for you?
I mean, I want to just keep playing for as long as
Of course.
I can. Like,
Yeah.
I want to keep enjoying it. And then I've got like these two images in my head of how retirement goes. And one's like, I want to take over FIFA. I want to set the rules right. I want to be like, get right people in the right places to make like positive change and stuff like that, because it's something that I do a lot now already. And then there's the other part of me that's like, let's just go and live on the beach.
Yeah, how conflicting is
Yeah,
that though?
It's like,
it is.
go to the beach, Barcelona, I speak the language, I used to live there, like, cool, I love the food, love the culture.
Do you know
Which one do I pick?
That's
The
6
greater
months.
good,
Look,
or-
6 months on, 6 months off.
Yeah,
you could do it that
half
way.
and
You could
half.
do
Yeah.
both.
I couldn't, I have to, if I had
No,
a job,
like you couldn't do 6 months on, 6 months off.
no,
No
I'd
way.
be like, as soon as I'm doing something, I have to do,
Yeah.
I'm all in, or not at all, yeah.
Right, well, I think the game might need you to do the first one for a bit, please.
and then get on the beach.
And then get on
you
the
can
beach.
go and be
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
beach forever. Yeah, with your dog, you can go and be on the beach. But no, absolutely amazing. And we love to finish our podcast with the same question every time, and that is, what defines being a powerhouse to you?
Being confident in yourself. Yeah.
Love that.
Thanks so much for being here, seriously. Cool, done. There we go.